It'll be a week tomorrow that 20 Israeli hostages were freed in Gaza by the proscribed group Hamas. Hundreds of Palestinians, many held without charge, were also freed from Israeli prisons. So today, in a mosque in North Kensington, Jewish and Muslim women came together to create friendships and renew bonds between their communities. Aisha Baksh was there.
I was elated. I really felt joyful.
Jewish and Muslim women side by side, listening, talking and sharing their views. At a time when the Middle East conflict has increased tensions here in the UK, organisers say this gathering at the Al-Manar Mosque in North Kensington is more needed than ever.
We're looking beyond the geography, we're looking at the humanity of it, we're looking at the experience of it, we're looking at what it means to be a woman, to be a Jewish woman, to be a Muslim woman, to have family there, to have no family there, to have an understanding of what's going on to the people in the region, and those stories are what's really important, and it affects us differently.
Laura Marks helped co-found the group called Nisa Nashim, which means women in Arabic and Hebrew. It aims to encourage honest and at times difficult conversations between women who may have never had the chance to come together before.
What we can do is we can do something about what's going on in the UK. So anti-Semitism through the roof, Islamophobia, anti-Muslim hatred through the roof. Actually, what do we want? We want our children, our grandchildren to grow up in a Britain which is safe, which is nurturing, where people know each other. And that's really our mission. That's what we want to do.
Many of the women here lead small Jewish and Muslim groups in London and beyond. And they say despite recent tensions, it's important for them to stay positive and show they can promote hope.
Another pathway is collaboration and the creation and maintenance of something, far above the immediate. And I think that's what our role is as religious people, as religious leaders, but in particular as Muslims and Jews.
It's very important that this doesn't just end with us, that this is perpetuated into the future and with our husbands and sons and cousins and nephews and so on and so forth, because we need this to spread as an antidote to polarization that is happening.
The women here say they'll continue to respect their differences and learn about each other in order to promote peace. Aisha Baksh, BBC London.
For the second weekend in a row, thieves have stolen railway cabling, causing disruption on the Elizabeth line. The signalling cable was taken from the Shenfield area in Essex, which led to cancellations this morning. Greater Anglia services were also affected, but thanks to temporary repairs, services started again by mid-morning. Charities supplying essential clothes and other items for babies and children in London are calling on the government to scrap the two-child benefit cap. Little Village Baby Bank is one of them and says there are tens of thousands of families in London in need of help. The benefit cap was introduced by the Conservative government but could be lifted in next month's budget.
My concern is that the government will think that their job is done. Child poverty is enormous in London. 800,000 children are living in poverty across our capital, which for such a rich global city is heartbreaking and unacceptable.
Well, the government says it's going to publish an ambitious strategy to tackle the root causes of child poverty. A protest has taken place to free 15 penguins from Sealife London Aquarium on the South Bank. Television presenter Chris Packham and singer Fergal Sharkey were among animal welfare campaigners calling for the penguins to be rehomed from what they say is their windowless basement. A Sealife spokesperson said the welfare of the animals is of paramount importance. There are plans to give people a new view of London from a zipline at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in Stratford. If the plans are approved, the line would go from the ArcelorMittal Tower near the stadium over the River Lee to a new 39-metre tower on the other side. Well, councillors will consider the application this week.
A man's been charged with murder after the death of a woman in Hornchurch. 40-year-old Anya Druskinia was stabbed to death at a house on Cranham Road in the early hours of yesterday morning. A 43-year-old man was arrested at the scene. He's due to appear at Barkingside Magistrates Court tomorrow. A blight on London's reputation. Those are the words of naturalist Chris Packham, who joined hundreds of animal welfare campaigners on the South Bank this morning to protest against the penguin enclosure at the London Aquarium. Freedom for Animals claims the basement enclosure denies the 15 penguins natural light, fresh air and deep water. But Sealife says the habitat was designed with the help of specialist vets. Rosie Barnett has the story.
It's advertised as the wonder under London, but those here today say that's precisely the problem. 15 Gen 2 penguins in an underground enclosure in the Sealife London Aquarium basement.
They don't see the sun, they don't see the stars, they don't feel a breeze upon their face. It's idiotic, it's a nonsense, and it's got to stop.
Celebrities like Fergal Sharkey and Chris Packham joining hundreds of protesters calling for their release.
The people of London, this is a blight on your reputation. I've been fortunate enough to see these birds in the wild on the Antarctic Peninsula and on the southern Ocean Isles. You know, they've got unlimited space. They're the fastest of all the penguins. They can swim at more than 20 miles an hour underwater. They're little rockets, but they've got a tiny little pool here that's about 1 metre and something deep. It's a travesty.
Organisers of the protest acknowledge the penguins can't just be let go into the wild, but they're campaigning for them to be moved somewhere like London Zoo, where there already is a penguin enclosure, which they say, crucially, is outdoors.
These penguins have been hatched in captivity. They don't know the wild. But at the very least, they deserve to be able to experience fresh air, to feel the sun and the rain, for that matter, on their backs.
Now, we have reached out to Sealife for comment on today's protest, and they say the well-being of all of their animals is of paramount importance. In regards to the penguins specifically, they say the habitat here was designed with specialist vets' help and advice, and it is inspected and reviewed regularly. As for the claims of unnatural confinement, they say the space provides an excellent balance of water and land for the penguins, which enables them to express their normal behaviours, and there is space for them to ensure they have sufficient privacy.
But demonstrators say that's simply no life for seabirds and won't stop fighting until all 15 are freed. Rosie Barnett, ITV News.
The adventurer Steve Backshall, who's from Surrey, has retraced the King's Steps in the Canadian Arctic exactly 50 years on from His Majesty's trip in 1975. The documentary, set to air on ITV over Christmas, will include a discussion with Charles about the impact of climate change. And finally, celebrities were out in force last night at the British Museum's inaugural ball. Stars there included Naomi Campbell and Janet Jackson. The event was held to raise money for the museum, and it had a pink theme inspired by its new Ancient India exhibition.